You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Okay, phew. I feel like I need a neck brace from just watching the news this week. The capital markets. It's just whiplash, right?
It really is. Every time you blink, another huge funding round drops.
Exactly. And often in these like super foundational, maybe even slightly obscure sectors.
It is a pretty chaotic flow of dollars right now. And look, for you, the listener, especially if you're trying to build something solid in all this volatility, you can't just skim the headlines.
No way. You need the why behind the what.
Right. So our mission today is, let's try to cut through some of that, synthesize the really critical bits about where the money's actually going.
And more importantly, what execution strategies are really working for founders on the ground?
Yeah, what's actually landing?
We're thinking about the builders, the ones operating right at the edge. Maybe that's you listening to Vocal Technologist right now, because you need to see the signal and the noise, not just the dollar amount. So let's start with just the sheer scale, because the market is placing some massive bets on the AI backbone, non-negotiable bets, it feels like.
Well, what's fascinating, I think, is the speed and the conviction behind the infrastructure plays.
Yeah.
Like, look at Modal Labs. They just pulled in $87 million.
Right.
Which, bam, instantly makes them a unicorn. $1.1 billion valuation.
Wow.
Now, that's not just a big number. It signals this really intense, ongoing battle over who controls the core compute and infrastructure. The stuff that makes these powerful new AI models actually usable and scalable.
Okay, so it's like the plumbing, but for AI, everyone wants to own the pipes.
Exactly. And it's not just generalized infrastructure either.
No.
The money is aggressively targeting these huge industries that are just full of friction.
Okay, like where?
Well, take Assort Health. They raised $76 million Series B.
$76 million, okay.
Yeah, for their AI platform, Assort OS, and their target, healthcare, specifically streamlining how patients get access, cutting down those awful call wait times.
Oh, thank goodness.
Right, and integrating with the existing, often clunky systems like EHRs, electronic health records.
And are they actually making a dent?
Well, the proof seems pretty solid. They're reporting a 98% resolution rate for patient inquiries handled by the AI.
98%. That's huge.
It's real operational efficiency in a sector that is just desperate for it. Tangible results.
Okay, that is a massive shift. Using AI not just for flashy stuff, but to fix these deep systemic logistical headaches. But, all right, if you want the funding announcement that really just broke my brain this week, Periodic Labs.
Ah, yes. The $300 million seed round.
A seed round. $300 million. I mean, forget MVP, forget product market fit. This is something else.
It's a massive pre-revenue bet, purely on the team, basically. They're ex-OpenAI, ex-DeepMind researchers.
And the goal is what? Automating science itself.
Pretty much. Using that money to build autonomous labs. AI scientists directing robots to discover entirely new materials, like maybe superconductors.
Okay, stop. That sounds like science fiction. What does a valuation like that at the seed stage tell you about how the market sees talent right now?
It's a huge signal, right? It points to this massive talent distortion we're seeing, a seed round that size. You're seeing the market pay an astronomical premium, not for a product, but for the people.
The rarest resource.
Exactly. The folks capable of building the next generation of foundational models. That valuation reflects the scarcity, the cost of that absolute top-tier human capital.
So, bringing it back to you, the builder listening. The market seems crystal clear. Foundational value is either in making the core AI engine reliable and usable, like Modal,
Right.
or applying that power to unlock huge returns in these big, slow legacy industries, like healthcare or even fundamental science.
That seems to be the big picture, yeah.
Okay, so we see where the capital is pooling. Let's follow the money just one step further. Where are companies, where are founders actually spending their AI development dollars? There's that AI application spending report. A16s and Mercury, I think.
Yes, that one. Some really interesting data points in there. First, there's a clear split, about 60-40, favoring horizontal apps over very specific vertical ones.
Huh, okay. More general tools winning out.
Seems so. But the single biggest category of spending, creative tools.
Creative, like design, writing.
Exactly, which suggests AI has just really rapidly democratized design content creation, maybe faster than a lot of us expected.
That speed point is interesting. It feels like AI is pulling companies into the enterprise space Much faster than, say, the Saws wave did.
Oh, definitely. It's this rapid B2B gravitational pull. The report showed almost 70% of companies shifted from a consumer focus to selling to businesses in under 2 years.
70% in 2 years. That's incredibly fast.
It is, and you see it with concepts like vibe coding.
Vibe coding, explain that one.
It's basically the AI quickly generating significant usable chunks of code, like the skeleton or the vibe of an application.
Got it.
Companies like Replit that lean into this to help build full enterprise-grade apps. They're apparently generating something like 15 times the revenue compared to others focusing just on, say, consumer UI pieces.
Why the huge difference?
Because the enterprise market validates the quality of that generated output almost instantly. It has to work, be reliable, integrate. It's a much higher bar than just looking cool.
Okay, so the money's flowing into infrastructure, and enterprise applications seem to be pulling focus fast. Now, let's dig into something technical that kind of blew my mind. It might be a bit unsettling for some builders listening. I'm calling it the RAG obituary.
RDA, retrieval, augmented generation.
Yeah, that's been the standard playbook for a couple of years now, hasn't it?
Totally. You take your massive documents, you chop them up, turn them into vectors, build this complex database to search and re-rank.
Feed tiny little relevant snippets to the AI because it couldn't read much at once.
Right. And it was complicated, it was expensive, kind of brittle.
And now? Well, for a lot of use cases, it's starting to look obsolete.
Obsolete, really. That whole infrastructure.
Effectively, yeah. I mean, the reason RAG was necessary was simple. Those early models had tiny context windows. They could only read, what, 12 pages maybe? So you had to break everything down. But today's models, they're enormous. The context windows are huge, like 6,000 pages of text, some of them.
Exactly. And the really surprising thing, one founder mentioned this, they found they got better results. Better results by just ditching the complex vector database and letting the big model read the raw, complete documents. Just letting it investigate like a human analyst would.
So no more chunking, no vectors, no complex retrieval. Just give it the files.
Pretty much for their specific use case. And here's the kicker, the real irony.
Okay.
They found their new, improved, simplified solution often involved using a tool that's ancient in tech terms, grep.
grep.
Yeah.
The command line thing from, like, the 70s.
The very same. From 1973, it just underscores this dizzying pace of technical decay.
Wow.
If your whole approach was built around the limitations of last year's models, it might already be crumbling because the models themselves just leapfrogged those limitations.
Okay, that is sobering.
Yeah.
If the tech foundation is shifting that fast, then execution strategy.
Yeah.
I think this comes everything, right? The only constant.
Absolutely. Which is a good pivot. Let's move from those big market shifts to more tactical stuff for founders. Because knowing where the money is doesn't help if you can't actually execute.
Right. Strategy and execution. Where do we start?
Well, strategy often starts with focus. Seems like a lot of founders, especially solo founders, really struggle managing multiple ideal customer profiles or ICPs.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic trap. Trying to be everything to everyone.
It's a brutal resource drain, trying to serve two totally different types of customers at once. Almost impossible when you're small.
So what's the advice? Just pick one.
Pretty much, or at least get hyper efficient. You probably can't tackle them truly simultaneously. The practical advice is things like time boxing.
Meaning?
Like dedicating specific days. Monday and Wednesday are only for the small business owner ICP. Tuesday and Thursday are only for the enterprise product manager ICP.
Forced focus.
Exactly. Plus, having totally distinct landing pages for each. And really smart, maybe even mandatory classification during sign-up so your marketing hits the right notes immediately.
Okay. Efficiency and focus. Makes sense. What else?
That efficiency idea ties straight into a metric that VCs are apparently obsessing over right now, activation speed.
How quickly a new user gets value.
Precisely. The data suggests that top-performing companies, they activate something like 69% of their new customers within 1 week.
69% in a week. How?
By basically blurring the lines between the traditional sales team and the growth team.
Okay, tell me more about that.
It means removing every single tiny barrier to that first aha moment, that first taste of value. So maybe you use an interactive demo before they even talk to sales. Let them play with it.
So product-led growth, essentially.
Sort of, but maybe even more integrated. Or give prospects access to the actual product before the sales call. Let them see if it works for them. Then if they're engaged, then loop sales back in to convert them.
Ah, so you're filtering for genuine interest using the product itself. That rapid activation must build incredible momentum much faster than old school sales cycles.
Exactly. It changes the whole velocity.
Okay, Rapid activation is key. What about keeping them once they're in? Product quality, making something people actually love.
Right. Moving from speed to substance. We need to talk about delight. There was a great framework from Nesreen Shungel on this.
Delight sounds a bit fluffy.
You'd think so, but her point is that delight isn't just a nice-to-have feature. It's a core business strategy. It locks in loyalty, reduces churn.
Okay, I like that framing. Strategy, not just features. How does it work?
It's basically a four-step model. First, you really dig into identifying the user's core motivators, what drives them. Then you translate those needs into specific opportunities where you could create delight. Then she suggests using a delight grid, a way to sort of manage and prioritize those potential solutions.
A grid, like mapping ideas.
Yeah, probably based on impact and effort, that kind of thing. And then, crucially, you have to rigorously validate the ideas. Does this actually delight users? Does it move the needle?
Can you give an example?
Think about Google Chrome when it first launched. Its main delight factor was just raw speed. It blew IE away. That wasn't just a feature, it was an emotional win.
Right, it felt instantly better.
Or Spotify's Discover Weekly, it seems personal like magic. That creates a connection, makes it much harder for a user to even think about leaving. That's strategic delight.
Okay, that makes sense. Build something strategically delightful. Then you got to sell the vision, right? Especially at VCs. What are they looking for these days when founders pitch?
Well, the basics still apply, of course. Clear communication, no jargon, a distinctive vision for the future.
But there's always a but.
But the absolute non-negotiable, especially in this current climate, proof of traction.
The numbers. Show me the data.
Exactly. You have to convert that skeptical investor into a believer. And right now, that primarily happens through demonstrated customer love, meaning real usage, real engagement, and growth metrics that are clearly accelerating. Talk is cheap. Traction speaks volumes.
Got it. Traction trumps talk. Okay, let's shift gears slightly into the psychology of actually getting all this done. Technical skill isn't enough, right?
Not even close. We need to talk about something counterintuitive. The power of constraints.
Constraints. Don't founders want freedom, flexibility?
That's what they think they want. But there's this idea that projects often fail not because of bad planning, but because they have too much freedom.
How does that work?
Give a team unlimited time, unlimited resources, and they tend to build something bloated that never ships, or they spend ages optimizing features that probably shouldn't even exist in the first place. They feel they have to fill the space.
So the fix is less.
Deliberate constraint. Limit the scope, limit the resources, limit the time. It forces focus. It forces you to tackle the absolute core problem and nail the solution without getting distracted by shiny objects.
Okay, I can see that. Constraints forcing creativity. How does this apply to, say, prototyping, especially now with AI? It's so easy to build something quickly.
That's the danger right there. AI lets you spin up an MVP, or what looks like one, in minutes. But founders are confusing motion with progress.
Busy work versus actual learning.
Precisely. The real art of prototyping, especially early on, is that it should be disposable. It must be built to answer one specific question and only one.
One question, like what?
You have to define your goal clearly. Are you testing the role? Does this thing actually solve a real painful problem for someone?
Okay.
Or are you testing the look and feel? Does the design, the interaction feel right? Is it intuitive, enjoyable?
Right.
Or are you testing the implementation? Can we actually build this thing efficiently? Is the tech feasible?
So pick one lens. Role, look and feel, or implementation.
Yes. Build just enough code, just enough design to get an answer for that one question. Learn what you need to learn. And then, this is the hard part, be ruthless about throwing the prototype away. Don't fall in love with it.
Build to learn, then discard.
Got it.
Okay, final tactical piece, and this feels critical. Making AI write less like AI.
Ah, yes. The generic output problem. Perfectly grammatical, zero insight.
We've all seen it. It's useless.
Yeah.
How do you get strategic, genuinely helpful output from these tools?
It comes down almost entirely to something called context engineering.
Context engineering.
See, the prompt itself barely matters if the AI has no context, no background. You need to feed the beast before you ask it to perform.
Feed it what?
Strategic context. Gather up your customer interviews, your support tickets, maybe competitor messaging frameworks, your own internal positioning documents, market analysis.
So all the background research and thinking.
Exactly. You load the AI with the specific worldview, the strategic landscape you operate in. Then and only then do you ask it to build a narrative or draft copy or whatever.
Give me an example, like prepping a board deck.
Perfect example. You don't just ask the AI, write me a board deck, that'll give you generic junk. Instead, you first feed it your latest market analysis, your competitive intel, your key customer feedback themes, your financial projections. Load all that context. Then you instruct it. Okay? Construct a narrative for the board that addresses competitive threat X, highlights customer win Y, and makes a case for funding initiative Z using the data I just gave you.
Ah, okay. You provide the strategic ingredients, then let the AI cook based on those ingredients. That's the difference between generic filler and actually useful strategic output.
Precisely. Context first, prompt second.
Makes total sense.
Okay.
But one last quick point on founder psychology, this idea of reverse imposter syndrome.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It often hits really excellent, highly competent technical leaders, people who are genuinely brilliant at their jobs, but maybe they do it quietly, behind closed doors.
So their actual skill is high, but
their external positioning, their ability to communicate the value and strategy of their work doesn't match up. They might feel like they're bragging or being superficial if they talk about the why and the so what.
so they just keep their heads down and build great stuff, hoping it gets noticed.
Pretty much. And the solution isn't just, oh, be more confident. It's about actively practicing external positioning.
Meaning?
Learning how to talk about your strategy, how to frame your team's work as a compelling business case, how to build the narrative for stakeholders, for the market, for investors. It's a different skill than just delivering technically excellent features. And in this market, hoping the work speaks for itself, it often doesn't. You need to give it a voice.
Right. You have to translate the technical into the strategic. Okay, wow. We covered a lot of ground there.
We did. From the huge capital shifts into AI infrastructure and automation.
Yeah, Modal, Assort, periodic labs. Crazy numbers.
To the need to blur sales and growth for that hyper-speed customer activation.
Getting users to value in under a week.
And the absolute necessity of context engineering to get anything useful out of AI.
Avoiding that generic AI voice.
And the psychology of constraints and positioning.
So, if we had to boil it down,
Yeah.
what's the core lesson for you, the builder, listening to all this?
I think the main thread running through it all is that in this incredibly fast-moving environment where even core technical solutions like RA can become less relevant almost overnight.
Yeah, that RAD point was eye-opening.
The only thing that seems to hold its value, the only truly durable asset, it's context.
Context, meaning strategic thinking, deep customer insight.
Exactly. Understanding the why, understanding the user, understanding the market dynamics. That knowledge, that context, is the only thing that doesn't seem to depreciate on a yearly cycle. Critical thinking is key.
That's a powerful takeaway. Context is king.
Which actually leads directly to a final, maybe provocative thought we wanted to leave you with. It ties back to that rapid technical change we discussed.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think about this. Google is apparently planning to launch something like personal context search.
Personal context search, what's that?
The idea is it takes a generic query you type, like coffee, and automatically transforms it using your personal context, your calendar, location, past preferences, into something hyper-specific. So coffee might become, find me an oat milk latte near my 2 p.m. meeting location that has good reviews and won't make me late.
Ooh, so my generic search becomes unique to me instantly.
Exactly. Now, if that happens, if personalized usefulness becomes the only way people search and find things, what happens to generic SEO? It kind of evaporates, right?
Yeah, if every search query is fragmented down to the individual user's immediate context.
Wow.
So the question for you, the founder, the builder, is what does that shift mean for how you even get noticed? How do you build utility? How do you secure attention when the very concept of a broad search query disappears and everything becomes hyper-personalized?
How do you build a product for a search query that's different for every single user every single time?
That's the question. Something to mull over.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there for this time. We'll see you next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.